Yeah, I think it's more.
Bro, my asshole burns. What's I about to do? What's I about to do? I'm not asking you. What's going on, Moby Dave? I was about to do something. What was I about to do? Oh, this is what I have to do. To get rid of these. Okay, do I got free space now? Let's go. Been good. We just won our league match. Moby Dave. Just won that shit. Doing pretty good. My asshole burns, so it's all good. Let me get a refrag server going up. Dude, I wiped and there was blood. There's like a little speck of blood, man. I don't know what happened. Alright, let me see something real quick. Alright, I already talked about that. Where am I at in this notebook? Use lube when shitting. Greasy poop, man. What are you saying? That's not why I was bleeding, man. I don't know why I was bleeding. It was not because of that. Alright, let me switch the map. Alright. This was the demo I'm gonna go over is phase versus NIP. This was on Inferno. If y'all got questions while I'm going over this stuff, feel free to ask. Yeah. I'm trying to get into CSGO before even getting a PC to play CSGO, so hopefully I learn a thing or two. Oh shit, bro. You're gonna want to play first. I mean, it's gonna like, I don't know. The stuff I'm going over is kind of like more advanced, I would say. But I feel like you just want to play and just get a feel for the game first. But yeah, you can still learn stuff though. It's just gonna be a little bit different. All right, look at this. Look at this. Hold on a second. All right, hold on. Someone just messaged me. 17 Polish. What the fuck? Hold on. This guy just messaged me on Steam. Oh, you're on the stream. Okay. I say I'm a Polish 17-year-old player in ESCA. I really need to get better, otherwise I might get kicked from my team. I don't struggle with my aim, but I played ESCA. I don't have much experience. Bro, if you're gonna ask a general question about just how to improve, like, I can't answer that for you, man. Like, you just gotta, I don't know, watch demos. Like, I don't know, like really vague questions like that, you're gonna get really vague advice. So yeah, just watch demos, review your own matches. That's pretty much it. If you don't struggle with aim, you gotta focus on like IQ. Trying to get, let me see. I played yesterday when I went over to my cousin's. I'm shit, but I still enjoy being shit in the game. It's a good game, man. It's got a high skill ceiling. There's a lot to learn. So, if you enjoy learning and grinding, you'll enjoy Counter-Strike. All right, let me go over this demo. All right, so this was FaZe versus NIP on Inferno. One thing I had written down, there's some self-supported flashes you could throw for a site, like when you're coming up through lane. So like if you're lane and you're like hitting A, let's say you throw like an A exec, smoke moto, smoke pit, whatever, smoke front sight, whatever the exec is, you can always throw these flashes as you run up, and this will just blind anyone on site. Those flashes like land in this area, and they won't blind you. I've also seen teams, I think there's like a flash like this. Oh shit. There's a flash like, where is this shit at? Hold on a second, let me find this. This fucking molly's in the way, dude. There's some flashes you could throw that like land right beneath this cubby right here. And then it won't blind you as you run up. And you can swing pit with these. And swing sight. Let me see if I can find them real quick. Maybe something like, oh shit. Yeah, I think that's going too deep. Better than Valorant, but only because of the fan base. What do you mean? Counter-Strike is better than Valorant? I agree with you 100%. But yeah, if you're running up a site, you know, you could have like your initial God flash right here to like start off the execute that lands in front of the site. But anyone who's running up, you can just spam flashes in this area as you run up and clear cold. Yeah, thanks for the follow, buddy boo. As you run up and clear cold, like those flashes will blind anyone on site trying to hold and fight against you. They'll blind someone here. They'll blind even people pit trying to fight you as you cross. They land in this area right here, so. Even moto too, like it literally blinds everything but you as you run up. So that's a nice little self-supported flash you can throw when you hit A site. Holy shit, yo! Thanks for following, Moby Dave. What's going on, man? It's 2 in a row. Let me see. When was this demo? August 2nd. Damn, we're getting close to the end. Okay, so yeah, one thing I kind of realized. It's like some like theory type stuff. Hold on a second. Yeah, so one thing I realized, like some like theory type stuff, but like, so there's like map strategies to how you play, you know, like how you approach like Inferno or whatever. Like there's different like styles of how you're playing. Think of it like openings like in chess or something, where it's like you're playing a certain a certain game within Counter-Strike. You're playing like the late take banana game, or you're playing the like heavy banana take game, and like there's certain like things you can like fake and mask off of that. So like let's say you're playing to like late take banana, right? And you're always just late taking this. Like that's the game you're playing. There's like things you can do like within that like map strategy. I just think of those as like kind of like games, like the late take banana game. Or these guys are like playing the rush game or whatever. You know, like there's certain things you can expect when they're playing like that. For like higher level teams that know about like conditioning and faking and masking and stuff, you know. So what I was gonna say though, if you're on Inferno and like say you're playing like the late take banana game where like you're always like just late taking banana, one thing you can do is like if you know the CTs have banana and they're playing 4A, one thing you can do to like counter that, even when they're playing 4A stacked, is you can throw a fake A site exec into a B split. Like this is when B splits become really good, is when you know that they have banana. So like the idea is, right, they take banana control, they rotate one person off, you have one guy jump spot, solo B, and then you have an A stack, right? Usually like 2 arch, like one guy in this cubby here, 1 moto area, and then like 2 site. That's usually how the setup works, like once they rotate. So what you can do is you throw this A exec fake, smoke moto off, you throw a big pick smoke, Molly big pit, whatever. You throw a fake. That's gonna pull this arch player, one of the 2, to come play site and help defend because he thinks it's like an A exec. And then you pop up through arch with like 3-4 people here. You take the 4-on-1 of the guy who's like playing close arch. When you kill him, if you just run through, now you just split B. And there's only one guy holding banana, and then you have like 1 or 2 guys sitting behind a banana to pinch this player here. So this is like when those the B crunches become like really useful, is when you know that they're playing 4A. Like, because you know that you can just take the... Because it's like, if you know that they're playing 4A, you can pull the second arch player to site, and then you know there's only one guy holding arch and one guy holding banana. Take the 4-on-1 here, or the 3-on-1 here, and take the 2-on-1 banana, and then you have the site. And it's pretty much still like 2B. Let me pull up the map. I'll show you why. Like, if you know there's only one guy here and there's two guys here, but you know you can pull one off, and then it's only one guy here and only one guy here, and it's like technically like 2B in a way, because there are two guys who are responsible for holding down the B site area. Does that make sense? So if you know that they're playing 4A, they're like an A side exec. Let's say you don't have time to retake banana, and then like, I don't know, whatever. You don't want to play like after late taking it. You can just abuse the 4A, 2 arch, right? Throw an A site exec, pull the arch rotate, only one guy here, and then you crunch B, and this is when you split B. So yeah, that's some map strategy for you on Inferno. Some stuff I realized. Let me see. With that in mind too, one thing I'm starting to like do more with my calls, like in scrims and matches, which I like never do, is faking arch and hitting A, or faking A and hitting arch, like kind of like how I was just saying. But like a lot of people just don't realize you could just do this. Like you can throw like a full arch trap and then just everyone go up porch, and it basically like forces the moto player to like respect that and like rotate to arch. Or you can throw like the shock smoke. So like let's say they're playing 3A, they're playing the passive setup, right? You got like one guy, moto cubby, you got like guy site, guy pit. What you can do to like make the A site exec easier, instead of just execing because this guy's gonna come through, you throw like shock smoke.
Where is it?
What? There's poop in here?
I don't know.
Who said so?
To clean something up, but she didn't say where.
It's not in here. There's been no dogs in here.
Oh, okay.
If I sorry, she thought there's poop in here. It's probably me. All right. If you know there's like 3 people A, and you want to like an easier A site take, just throw like an arch fake into an A exec, or an A exec into an arch fake, like, or an A fake into a arch wrap, you know? So like that's something you can do. So let's say you know that they're playing like a passive setup on A. You don't even have to arch wrap, you can just throw like the shock smoke. This one right here, and then it forces this moto player, like if you know they're playing passive like this, it forces this moto player to come around to library here to like come hold the CT rep, because you could be there. He has to respect the smoke, and then you just come up and hit porch, apps, pop, whatever it is, and then now you have, instead of a 5v3, you have a 5v2, and it's an easier way to take the site. So if you're like, I guess you're stacked towards A, and you're about to hit A site, you don't just have to exit. You can throw an arch fake into an A hit, throw an A fake into an arch rep. All of them work. So some shit you can use when you're calling on Inferno for some IGLs out there. Let me see. Yeah, another thing too, which I think a lot of like NA teams need to realize, is that, let's say you've been, let me get rid of these fucking A's, dude. Let's say you've been taking brackets like pretty fundamentally, right? We call this fundy. Let's say you've been like smoking off this, mauling porch, flashing in, and like you're like establishing the respect of brackets, like when you take brackets every round after round. You shouldn't be doing this the whole half. Like if you always heavy take brackets control, at a certain point you got to realize that the CTs are gonna respect this and stop playing for brackets, because they're just gonna keep on dying every time they try and contest this, because you smoke this out, molly guy out underneath, and you just fuck up the last guy who's playing here, or whatever it is. Let's say you've just been establishing that respect of taking brackets pretty fundamentally. What you got to do at a certain point is to realize that the CTs are going to respect you when you're enforcing that respect, and then like you go into like the second stage of like your map strategy, and you start, you know, adjusting and adapting, so you can expect the respect, and then not smoke off arch side and molly this. You can contact this maybe, because they're probably not going to be playing for brackets. Hopefully you know they're not opping. But another thing you do too is to skip the brackets control and going straight into an arch control, because if you throw brackets control, you're going to have to wait out your own arch side smoke, you know what I'm saying? Like the smoke here. So like let's say you've been establishing that respect of taking brackets all the time. Just go straight from mid to an arch control. And how you do that is by throwing a shock smoke and then a porch molly, and then you just come in. You basically just move this smoke from here to here, so you don't have to wait it out and then challenge arch control after it smokes off, like smokes fade. You can just go straight from mid into arch, because you can like kind of expect the CTs to respect you, and that this is going to be clear. Like that's that's like the gambles you have to eventually start taking as you you learn to call on maps is like when to start cutting corners. Like that's what makes like a really good IGO is knowing when to cut corners and not always being super fundamental with your util. So how to throw that? You can just come here, get in this corner right here, aim in the at the end of the window, jump throw, and this is gonna be your shock smoke. That's one of shocks, and you just have some guy come here, molly under porch. Flash comes in, you swing this. This is probably gonna be clear, and then you just come up from here and then challenge arch control. Flash comes over arch, boom. Now instead of like wasting your util to get this and then this, you just go straight from mid to that without wasting time or util. It's all about cutting corners, man. So that's some little stuff you can start applying to your teams and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If y'all got questions too, I'm more than happy to answer questions. Don't be afraid to start dropping some questions in the chat. But I'm gonna just keep on talking about stuff I got in my notes, and then if there's questions come up, I'll answer questions. But I'm just gonna keep on talking until questions come up. So this is an open discussion, man. I'm an open book, bro. I'm an open book with everything I know. So yeah. Let me look ahead in these notes here. Yeah, there's the saving util. Yeah, with that in mind too, I made a video on this before, how you're like your T side should progress, but like another example of that would be like, let's say you're doing like a fundamental car control. We call it fundy car, where like every time like, you know, you get banana control, when you go to take car, you molly out op corner, molly sandbags, flash comes in, and then no one's here. Okay? If you do this 2 rounds in a row, 3 rounds in a row, you should be like, all right, the CTs are not even playing for car control. Let's contact it next time. And you just come and just walk it out. And now you just save 2 mollies and you still have the car control because you established the respect the prior rounds. Another way you can like take car control for free is just by doing the boost. You have someone crouch here. This guy jumps up, peeks, he drops back down, and he comes here, boost up on half wall, and then you can walk out and peek sandbags. That's another like dry way to taking car control. I basically agree with everything you say. I like the way you view the game, bro. From EU. Yo, I appreciate that, bro. How do you take notes with a pen and paper? Dude, are you asking like a specific thing about notes, or what are you trying to, like elaborate a bit? I don't know how to answer that question, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let me see. Let's see. But yeah, that's kind of like a good, so this is something I realized, right? There's like a good standard way to approach teams that you don't know, and then like develop your T side from that. So like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, you'll see like pro matches where like they'll just start off like, shit, I just muted my mic. Like you'll see pro games where like teams will just start off like fast paced, like they start with rushes and stuff, and like people always talk about map strategy, and like when you watch these pro games, you're like, oh, I guess I can like play the same way too, like start off with rushes, and like it's like, yeah, you can, you know, but like there's a reason why teams are doing stuff like that. It's because they have prep work before they go into these matches. So like, you have to approach teams that you have no prep work on and teams that you do have prep work on differently. Like if you have no prep work on a team and you're just playing like a scrim against a random team, and like let's say you're trying to win the scrim, or you're playing like a main match and you had no, or like let's say you have like a league match and you had no time to do prep work. There's a good like standard way to start off T side, and I believe personally it's to start off with a pack default. This can change based on the maps, because some maps just have better ways to counter aggression. But I think it's always best to just like start off, especially in NA, with like defaults that counter aggression. So like a pack default, right? Like let's say like 4-1 towards A, because a lot of people in North America just like go crazy when it comes to like banana fights and stuff, or all they know is banana control because they saw like one Elma Putty video on it. You know, that's like all NA teams know. So like a good like standard way to approach teams that you don't know is to like, I guess like say 4-1A and like play for late takes banana. That's like a decent way, because you're packed up towards A, you're just giving banana control. If they aggress into you A site, which they probably will because you're in North America and everyone just fucking takes fights, you get picks and you can split off the picks because you're grouped up and you just take the site, right? You just snap on the site. That's like the good benefit. That's the benefit of defaulting when you're packed up. So that's a good way to like start your defaults, and then you progress into like a 2-1-2 after like 3-4 rounds. If you realize like, oh, we're playing like a pretty passive team, let's stop pack defaulting. Let's start taking map control faster. You know, because if you're packed up, you're like really strong in the pack taking map control, but like the downside is time. So you're like costing time by doing that, and that like playing passive kind of counters like a pack default team because you have to like come back, clear this map control out, and like you're just better off taking map control faster against passive teams. So that's like when you want to end up like developing your T side into like a split default, and then you start making calls off that, like oh they're passive on B, they have no info. We get like a B fake into like you know you start like getting into like the strategies and shit like conditioning and masking. But like just know that starting out, because I always just never knew. I was like, how do you start off a T side, right? How do you start off a T side? How do I know which pace to start with? Because like I see like so many different teams starting at different paces. It's just realize that they're starting with prep work. So like let's say they realize that like they're going against a team that is passive. Okay, we know these guys are passive. Let's start off with the 2-1-2 default. Let's start off split defaulting and just taking map control like fast. We'll do fast car control. We'll do fast brackets. That's when you should like come into games with different paces. But if you don't know the team, just have like a nice standard way of approaching it and just plan for the worst case scenario of aggression, because you're in North America, dude. People are going to be aggressive. So like just plan for that. And then if you're proven wrong, then adjust after. But you're better off planning for aggression than not planning for aggression and then getting aggressed into and just losing your first buy round because now you're back to an eco because you were split default and they just did like a heavy banana. You know what I'm saying? Like just approach teams differently if you have prep work, if you don't. And then, you have prep work, you can see how to start the pace and then you play off of that. Does that make sense? This is something I had to realize. How do you take notes? How do you organize my notes? I take notes on a notebook when I watch demos. And then I have a notebook on my phone that I'll take notes when I think of things, just like when I'm driving or about to go to sleep or whatever. I'll take notes on that. And then I have an Evernote, which I use for the team, for team practice and stuff, which I'll log our practices and take notes on that I want to like, notes I want to share with the team. And then I have a strat book, or I have a Google Doc for a strat book to keep everything. So that's like kind of how my notes look. I'll also sometimes like, when I get like some like I'll get like an epiphany in the car about like, let's say like something about IGLing or like some mental stuff, like whatever it is, like something I want to like write down. If it's like, if I just gotta like splurge my mind, I'll just open up my phone and I'll just record a video and just talk into it, and then I'll write it out later just so I can save it. But yeah, that's how I take my notes and stuff, and then I'll like study them later. Because I saw Elise use Evernote, but you use pen and paper. Yeah, you can use Evernote too, but I'm like pretty old school with this, because when you got pen and paper and you're writing stuff down, like it sticks better versus typing it, because you're writing it, you're spelling it out, you're feeling the words as you write it down, you're reading it as you write it down. Like it's gonna stick in your head better than typing it out. So that's why I use a notebook. And then plus it's like, bro, it's a fucking flex when you got like me when I got like 9 notebooks just filled up from notes from demos. Like, bro, that's a flex, dude. That's a flex, man. Come on. Like when someone's like, ask about Counter-Strike, like, dude, I got 9 notebooks. What's your favorite NA team? I mean, what all there is EG and Liquid. My favorite NA team? Please send Box. That's my favorite. It's a female team. That's my favorite NA team. I mean, Liquid and EG, it's like, I don't know. They don't got the spark they used to have. I don't know. It's a little bit different now. Let me see. Oh, here's a flash you could throw. If you want to clear out cubby, it like will just bounce off this wall. It'll hit anyone in this corner and then anyone hiding in this corner as well. So let's say like you're about to like take arch control. This flash will also blind anyone close because it lands in the cubby, but it can also use it as you can also use it as a sound cue to just clear out anyone in the cubby. So you just aim here, just left click throw a flash, and it'll bounce off this part right here. Hopefully hitting anyone in this corner and then hitting anyone in this corner. You'll hear a sound cue if it does hit them. It's a nice little flash you can throw. So you don't even have to clear cover. You can just throw that and just swing out and just like kind of know it's clear because it didn't hit anyone. How to get bitches while trying to become pro? Bro, that's what I've been telling you, man. You want to go pro in Counter-Strike, you got to go pro in real life, dude. That's why I've been like trying to work on my social skills and stuff. Get on my comfort zone, work on my anxieties, all that other shit, so I can like talk to people. Like I go to the gym a lot, and when I'm at the gym, I'll like purposely go on my way to like talk to people, especially girls. I used to not be able to do. I used to have such bad social anxiety, so I was like, I gotta work on this, man. So I go out of my way at the gym to like make conversation with people. I got a couple numbers at the gym, and it's like that's how you do it, bro. That's how you do it. Fuck Tinder, fuck all that Instagram shit. That's the easy way out. You don't get any social skills out of it, Like you might get some girls off of Tinder and stuff, but it's like you don't get anything to keep like in the long run. Does that make sense? Like if that's something I realized, it's like I used to have Tinder and stuff like that, and it's like a lot of people on there are just like on there for validation and stuff, and then like if you match with someone, like you really don't keep anything for yourself, if this makes sense, like to keep with you for the rest of your life. Like if you were to get matches on Tinder and go on dates off of that, like that's easy. It took no work at all, you know? But if you like go to the gym and you work on your social skills to be able to approach girls and talk to them and have conversations and then get numbers like that will follow you for the rest of your life. Like the way I see it, bro, like, bro, talking to girls is like the scariest thing in the fucking world. So it's like if you could talk to a fine ass female in the gym, especially in the gym, because I feel like it's kind of like weird to like talk to people in the gym. But if you could do that in the gym, like you could talk to anyone, bro. So that's what I did. And it's like that's what I started doing. I just talked to everyone in the gym. I talked to girls. I talked to dudes. I talked to the finest females there, dude, bro. And dude, like, now when I talk to people, when I go on stream, I have like just no anxiety at all. So like in a way that like helps you get bitches, I guess. But it's not about just getting bitches, bro. It's about like, you know, working on your confidence, something that'll last forever. Let's see. You've gotten a lot better since I first started watching you when the Ziz music started. I'm very impressed. I hope I can set up similar results. What, in confidence and stuff? All the girls I met were the ones that hit me up when I hit rate. Yeah, bro. You get people lining up to meet you when you hit Radiant. If I cannot, I will become pro in Among Us. Face it, Elo, I barely ever pug, but I'm like 2,000 something. I'm like barely level 10. I barely ever pug. Okay, let me see. Yeah, this is I'm not even gonna talk about this, bro. Everyone does it. I was just gonna talk about that quick little peek play where you just come here, go for this shot in the op corner. Everyone in North America does that. I just started doing that because I gotta work on my aggression and stuff. Let me see. Arch wrapping. I'm interested for how you would do a standard abs pop and taking the site once out, and would you do them only after creating a diversion first? It depends. Sometimes you don't need to create a diversion because the CTs are playing like really passive and they have no information, so you can just like expect that they're playing like standard numbers on both sides. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can create a diversion if you want before going for abs pop, or you can just straight up go for it. It's all about like mid round calling and realizing if it's like the right call to do, but I think the most important thing about abs pops, like if you're asking about a standard abs pop, is the entry pathing, which I think a lot of people get wrong. Because you can piece together an abs pop however you want. If you want to smoke moto, you can do that. You can throw a fast blooming wagon smoke without a moto smoke. You could do that too. You can flash over sight. You could just throw chimney flashes. Like, you can really piece together an abs pop and it'll still work out. You can just dry swing out abs if you want it. It'll still work out if you get like the entry pathing down really well. So like, how the entry pathing should go for an abs pop. So I don't know if you guys saw on the stream, but our coach Liger, really fucking smart dude, he was talking about entry pathing for most sites and how it's like usually like a 2 and a 1 entry pathing. So you have like a duo who like clears the same thing, like who will hard clear the same shit. They both come up. First guy's pretty much destined to die. He's just swinging wide. Second guy's there to trade. And then you have a third person who's set to clear everything else that they're not fighting, right? That's usually how you entry for most sites. I would say apps is an exception though, depending on how you do it. Because apps, the first guy and the second guy aren't swinging to clear the same thing. The first guy's actually a diversion, and he's there to draw the crosshairs of everyone else on the site. So this is how I've seen Gambit run it. Well, now C9, but old Gambit. This is how I've seen them run their abs pop, and this is how I kind of like to structure it on my team. So when you go for an abs pop, first guy comes here, clears close mouth, makes sure no one's here, and then he comes out, jumps here to mini pit, and he drops down and takes the fight in mini pit. All right. Usually because you're gonna have a guy sit in mini pit watching the drop out from abs pops, and you could just get right behind him and just fuck him up. You just dick on his face and just shit on him. You know, you land here, kill this guy, and then you can come and swing big pit. All right. The benefit of this guy coming out first and doing that is that anyone who's watching this sees him jump out and they're like boom 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 shooting. You know, and they have to track his crosshair, right? They have to track their crosshair on him, and that's just pulling their crosshair away from everyone else who's apps, not allowing them to multi-kill. Okay. This is why like a lot of apps have go wrong, because people swing wrong. So the first guy comes out, he's the diversion, jumping mini pit. Second guy, a lot of people think you should swing sight. He's not swinging sight. Second guy is coming here and hard clearing bulk. And the reason for this is because Balk is a really dangerous angle against abs pops. And also, if this second guy comes to swing sight and he sees someone there, he's stopping and taking the fight, and this is clogging up everyone else behind him. Because, right, he's swinging out. Oh, shit. He's fighting, and now these guys are all stuck behind him. And now the guy, Balk, is just going to peek and just multi-kill everyone because this guy decided to stop and take a fight. So he's actually coming out back to sight and hard clearing Balk. And then once it's clear, he's coming and swinging pit. He's not even worried about sight. Third guy comes out, swing sight, and just wide swing it, like wide as fuck. And then the fourth come out, and then you can start jumping out and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But biggest thing is just to have like the first guy come out, be the diversion, jump to mini pit. Second guy, hard clear Balk, don't peek sight. Third guy, peek sight. And it's just to make space. Same goes for like if you're hitting A sight. Like if you're entering, you should like not clear something. So like how I always saw it is like the entry should just hard clear mini pit. Because if this entry was to like fight sight, if he takes a fight here, it's just clogging up everyone else behind him. Whereas mini pit is the wider angle to swing. So if he swings here, if someone was sight, they're shooting at him. And because he's swinging so wide, they have to track him. And then the other guy can just swing from close and peek the guy cold. So usually want your entries just swinging the angle that's kind of farther away. And then just letting them die if they need to die. And then the other people trade out. Because like I said, if they were to take the fight here, if the entry was a hard swing sight, he's going to end up stopping here to take the fight. And it's going to clog up everyone behind him. So he would just come here, swing mini pit. So same thing for apps. Don't swing sight, swing Balk. And then you could come here, swing pit, and then jump out. And you guys fight pit together. So yeah, that's how you... and then when it comes to util, there's several ways to do it. You can throw like a fast blooming wagon smoke. So on Mexi, come here, aim at the end of that black line, jump throw. This is going to land on the wagon. And like insta blooms, and then people can jump out. You could do this. You could also, from the same position, have someone Mexi smoke moto, and then he jumps up, flash over sight, and then you get like flash over apps or something. Usually for all apps pops, you're gonna want to have some guy throwing the chimney flashes. These are like kind of essential. And then he goes, and then yeah, just flashes over sight, moto smoke, like some pretty basic stuff. I just set my elo. It's like around 2,000-ish. If you had to sell someone on your team into indentured servitude, who would it be? Paula. Yeah, you can see my faces on my Steam profile. That should be all on the Twitch and shit. Yeah, that's the entry pathing for abs pops and stuff. Let me keep on going through the notes. CT smoke. I already showed the second step. It's B site exec. Let me keep on going. Almost asked, would you sell Paul? Yeah, he needs some work ethic, man. Let's see. Yeah, I can go. Let me look if I got any scripts here. I'll come back to these notes in a second. Yeah, let's see if I got any. Hold on, there was actually something I wanted to talk about. Let me look through my phone notes. God, that was a chess video. All right, look at this. Let me see. Yeah, one second, chat. Let's see. This is what I want to talk about, okay? Wes Proter, he made a video about consistency with like aiming and stuff. And pretty much the video summed up, he was saying that like you just have to accept inconsistency, and that makes you consistent, because like trying to consciously control unconscious movements like aiming is just going to fuck up your consistency, and like you end up getting in your own head, or I like to say getting in your own hand, because you're like physically trying to move your hand, and that just never works. Like you have to unconsciously play. That's what the flow state is just letting your body react to like the movements that it knows to do. Like you consciously can't replicate flicks perfectly. Unconsciously, you'll probably be more likely to be able to do that. So that's what he was saying basically. He's like in his videos talking about like pretty much how to enter the flow state, and you have to accept the fact that you might not enter the flow state, and you have to accept the fact that you're not going to be consistent, and that makes you more consistent. And yeah, that shit actually works. I applied it to my game, but one thing I realized that to add on to like what he was saying about like consistency is that another thing I ended up having to like do to like really help me just enter the flow state. So before, like what I had to do to help me, like, okay, let me just explain this. So when I would aim train, I would like no music. I wouldn't talk to people. I would like just try and be as focused as possible, right? Just in the zone, right? I would meditate beforehand, just try and be as focused as possible. And then while I'm aim training, like if I have thoughts in my head, I'd be like, no, focus on the target, focus on the target. And that actually fucks you up. I'm not gonna lie, that fucks you up. Because like there's like a conflict in my head of me like unfocusing on the target and trying to focus and and it's like the conflict itself is what fucks up the flow state and makes it really hard for you to get in the zone. And so what I realized I had to do was to accept my thoughts, right? If I'm aim training, like let's say I would have like a song stuck in my head and I'd be like, fuck, I can't, like, stop playing that song, just focus on the dots. And like I said, that conflict fucks you up. And so what I end up doing, and this was in the book The Art of Learning as well, but I would just let the music play. I would deliberately sing the song in my head and then just keep on aim training. And basically what that ends up doing is deliberately singing that song in my head or whatever the fuck's in my head, just repeat on over because I have ADHD. Like sometimes I'll just have like a phrase just fucking repeating over. It's stupid as fuck. But whatever's in my head, I'll purposely repeat it and just like sing the song and then keep on aim training. And basically me consciously singing that song distracts my conscious mind from overthinking and getting into my own hand while I'm aim training and just lets my unconscious just start aim training. And I'm just hitting crazier shots. I'm PRing like crazy. So like I used to be like, man, if you you aim train and you talk to people, or if you aim train and like listen to music, like that's dumb because you're not gonna be as focused. But it all depends on the kind of mood that you're in. So like sometimes it can help you out, like because if like you're overthinking things, like it can help you distract your conscious mind from overthinking your own movements, your motor movements, and then it like lets your unconscious mind just thrive in the aim training while your conscious mind is distracted on something else. So like to test this. Because it was like in The Art of Learning, because he said that he was playing chess once, and it was something like with an earthquake that happened, and his opponent was like, it was Josh Weitzkin who wrote the book. His opponent was like flustered because there was like an earthquake happening in India while he's like at some chess competition, and then he just accepted that there was an earthquake happening and just accepted the distractions and just kept on playing versus trying to like tune them out. Like the act of tuning something out or like being in your own head of like the conflict itself is what distracts you. You just have to accept everything that's there. Accept it for it is. Accept the fact that you're going to be inconsistent. Accept the fact that you're going to make errors. Accept the fact that you might not enter the flow state. Accept distractions that are like messing you up, and then you actually end up entering the flow state. Does that make sense? And I tried this with my brother. So like my brother came home, and usually like when my family comes home, I'm like, fuck, no, I can't aim train because they're going to like walk in the room, start talking to me, be loud as fuck. He walked in the room, or he came home, and he starts like, he's in the kitchen like cooking and shit. And I could hear him cooking, and normally that would bother me. But I was like, I'm just gonna accept that he's in there and just keep on going. I'm just gonna accept it. I'm just gonna hear it. And versus trying to tune him out, I'm just gonna hear everything. Just accept where I'm at, exactly where I'm at in this moment. And then I just heard him. I let myself hear him, and I was hitting PRs. And then he even came in the room, bro. He came in the room, and I was like, fuck, now he's gonna want to talk to me. I was like, I'm just gonna accept that too. I'm gonna accept the fact he's gonna talk to me and keep on going. And then I had a conversation with him, explaining what the fuck I'm talking about, explaining what I'm talking about right now to him while aim training. And like accepting the fact that I'm having the conversation with him, and then I PR'd right after. I hit like a personal record. It's like actually crazy. And then while I was explaining this to him, I was in the middle of a scenario, and he's like, "Oh, so if I try and distract you, like you're not gonna mess up. It's gonna make you play better, huh? Sammy, like just being annoying as fuck, like pretty much yelling in my ear." And I was like, "Yep, it's gonna work. Yep, 100%." And I just accepted that he was being a distraction instead of fighting it, and then I PR'd again. Like it was. It was actually crazy. And that goes to show, like, that's what the Josh Weitzkin talks in that book, The Art of Learning, is called making sandals versus, like, trying to carve a pathway. Like, there's, like, an old saying, I guess, where it's, like, a man wants to explore the world, right? But, like, nature is full of thorns and, bushes that are going to, like, hurt your feet. So, like, the guy has two options. One, he can either, carve a trail and make a path for him to walk on, and like tame all of nature in its path, or two, the dude can make sandals. And then that's what that pretty much is just making your own mental sandals to handle all the distractions, everything that comes your way. You can handle it because you got your own sandals on, versus some guy who has to, like how I used to be, where I had to close the room. I used to had to put the heater on because my hand's cold. Used to have to like make sure I'm focused as fuck, no music, no distractions, and then I can aim train. That's me making a trail, making a path. That takes too much work. I should just make sandals and just accept everything. Accept that my hand's cold. Accept the fact that my brother's gonna talk to me. Accept the fact that he's making a lot of noise in the kitchen. And then you fucking thrive, bro. That's when my aim was popping the fuck off. Like, it was actually crazy. I was popping off in the aim training. And I was in the zone, dude. And then let me see. That's some note I had down. Is like, people always talk about like, man, pros make it look easy. And it's like, it's the reason why they make it look easy is because they're not overthinking it. They're just doing. And that's something I used to like, that used to really mess me up. Is because I would like, the act of me trying to avoid mistakes led to more mistakes, instead of just letting my unconscious, accepting mistakes and just letting my unconscious just react to stuff. Like, let's say in game calling, instead of me trying to make the 100% most perfect call, nowadays I just react, and if it's the wrong call, I'll find out why it's the wrong call, versus me trying to not to make that wrong call and being scared to make that wrong call. Just accept mistakes. And when you make mistakes, when you're in that flow state, you learn better versus you trying to avoid the mistakes. You learn more from making errors. That's just a known fact. So that's what I do nowadays. I just accept the fact that I'm going to make mistakes. I accept the fact I'm not always going to make the best call and stuff. And I just try not to control anything. I just be in the zone. And if mistakes happen, who cares? Accept them, And let me see. That's something I had to realize too, is that like going pro and like improving and stuff is actually a lot more relaxed and like enjoyable than I was making it out to be. Because I was making it out to be like super disciplined, super structured. I had to study, I had to do this all. I had to make sure I'm making the right calls, all this stuff. And it's like, it really isn't about that, dude. It's really about just playing the game, being in the game, being present, just having fun, and then when mistakes happen, just learning from those versus trying to prevent mistakes. Does that make sense? And it's like, oh yeah, that's the other thing I said too. So it's like, this is like the thing that's tricky, because I know this happens to a lot of people, because I've talked to a lot of people who are super dedicated. This is the problem with like trying to improve, is that you have to take the game serious enough to improve, but you can't take it too seriously where it takes the fun out of it and the joy out of it, because that's actually going to lead to less improvement, because then you're not enjoying the game and playing, like you're not in the flow state, because you're like overthinking shit. So you have to take it serious, but not too seriously. Because if you're too serious, it's going to prevent the flow state. And just realize that like, you got to realize that, what's it called? What the fuck was I going to say? Oh yeah. You just got to realize that like having expectations is, like, having no expectations is a prerequisite for entering the flow state. So if you have expectations of how you're going to play or how you should play, you're literally fucking yourself up and you're not going to play that good. You just have to just play. Just let your natural self come out as you play. And then just accept mistakes, accept errors, and then you'll play better. Let me go through the chat, because I was on a crazy ramble there. How much Kovacs do I play in a week? I do about like 20 to 30 minutes a day. So whatever that adds up to. When I DM, I play loud music and talk shit with my friends. So yeah, that depends. So like sometimes that can help you, and sometimes it's bad for you. I would say try both. Try like being super focused with like no distractions, and then try it with that. And you could be a person that can do it with talking to people. But yeah, I noticed that if I'm getting in my own head and I'm like, I guess too focused in a sense, where I'm like trying to consciously maneuver my hand and stuff, then I need something to distract my conscious. Then I'll like sing a song in my head, or I could talk to someone and then still aim train and I actually play better. Sometimes if stuff I do isn't working, I play like an idiot and it works. And I was wondering if you think there's a place for that. Well, that's, I mean, yeah, what do you think? Why do you think art was like so renowned? Because you would just do weird shit. But there's a lot more smarts behind like arts plays and stuff. But if you mean playing like an idiot by just doing instinctual things, like whatever you felt like doing in that moment, yeah, you should do that, because you'll find out what works and what doesn't, and you're in the flow state when you do that. If you just let your mind react, and then just learn from the mistakes from that reaction, versus trying to like make the perfect call, Just do whatever the fuck you think of, and then learn afterwards. You'll learn a lot faster that way. Let's say you want to improve at headshotting when you play DM. Should you not think of hitting headshots? You should. You should think of hitting headshots, but you just don't consciously try and hit headshots. Just like let yourself, like if you see someone, like just do whatever, like how your hand does it. Just like, I guess you could focus on hitting the head, yeah, but like don't overthink it and try and be like, I gotta flick and then adjust and then, you know, I gotta make sure like you end up getting into your own hand. Like if you are feeling your hand when you're aim training, like you're kind of doing it wrong. Like you should just be like kind of zone the fuck out. That's for me at least. I just if I'm feeling my hand consciously, I'm already in the wrong spot. I'm already overthinking it. And I'm not gonna hit those headshots. So it's just like, because I was DMing the other day and I was just blasting music and then just doing however my hand would flick and react, and then just playing like that instead of trying to like really hit these shots. You know. You want to see a nasty flick? Well, you got a video? I've been happier with my mistakes. That's good. Yeah, you should accept mistakes and be happy with them. Hit face it 10. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Face it 2. I mean, I would dry peek the op and push past the player to kill the people he was covering. Like, that Bragg's kid live. That was Flash 2. Saw W. I'm not sure of the situation. I can't really picture it. But, yeah, you just usually want to just... Like, that's how you learn fast. Just play instinctually and then learn after. And then you'll learn faster that way versus trying to, like... Instead of avoiding probabilities in certain plays because you're scared it's going to fail, just let yourself fail, and then you'll learn faster that way. I think the unconscious thing when aim train makes a lot of sense. Recently, I've been not practicing aim at all since I feel better when I don't, and I've been playing better recently. It's probably because you're overthinking aim training or something. But yeah, that's something I realized too. Why I think so many people always ask that fucking question of how do you practice recoil control? It's like, dude, just practice recoil control. But I think what they get wrong and the reason why they think that like it's not working is because when you're in game and someone peeks you, like let's say someone peeks me here. Let me turn on the volume. This will be loud as fuck. Let's say someone peeks me here. Like you're gonna flick and then you're gonna spray, and your recoil in game is pure reaction. You're playing pure reaction. However you're spraying, as whatever you do is just gonna come out naturally because no one has time to overthink recoil. But then when people are going and they're practicing the recoil in, like let's say like a recoil server, a recoil map, they're consciously in their hand trying to perfect it. So it's like you have to realize that when you're in that recoil practice, in that recoil practice map, you shouldn't. You can consciously try and feel how the recoil should feel, but like if you're completely new to it, like you kind of have to have like that consciousness of how you're playing or how you're trying to like learn something. But at a certain point, you have to let go of the consciousness and just let your hand do what your hand's gonna do when you think of trying to like recoil train. Just let it come out. And if it's a mistake, learn from it and do it again. And just let it come out. If it's a mistake, learn from it and do it again. Instead of trying to like be in your hand and like perfectly move the mouse. Like when you're in your hand thinking about it, you're fucking up already. Like you should just brain off. Let the unconscious mind do its thing. And if the unconscious mind makes a mistake, the unconscious mind will fix it. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I think that's why a lot of people struggle with recoil. It's just like they're conscious while training and then they're unconscious while playing. So it's like you have to train your unconscious. Because they'll be like, bro, I can hit a perfect spray when I'm in the server or on the map, but then I get in game, it's like I'm messing up. It's like, yeah, because consciously you're really good at recoil. You're not good at it unconsciously. You gotta train it unconsciously. And when you're in game, it's all unconscious. It's all reaction. Yeah, I think I'm focused too much on aim improving. There's too much conscious involvement. It probably. I feel like sometimes I subconsciously think too much about what my teammates are doing. Is that really subconsciously thinking about it then? If you're over. I tense up in my fights thinking about my shots like a goof. What's the best way to anti-strat? Just why everybody get the fuck out. Yeah, you can do that too, man. Like when you say someone's just those wide ass swings. The best way to anti-strat, I'm honestly not that good at anti-stratting. I only anti-strat in like open playoffs, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess just look when you're anti-stratting, just look for like general things. I don't have the best advice on this because I'm not like really experienced in it. But one thing that really helped me was if you see specific tells, note them down. Like something that they only do on like a certain execute. Like an example, My teammate Enfohip, my ex-teammate Enfohip, he anti-strated a team that we're about to play on Nuke, and he saw that one of their tells was if they naded the back window above Nuke, it meant they're gonna A execute. So then we got in the game, and they naded the window, and we all rotated to A and stacked it, literally 5 people, and they executed, and then we lost. But like that's a for sure tell, you know, like if they nade the window, like they're for sure hitting A. Like things like that you can note down, and then just also note down tendencies. So like kind of how they play, but don't get too into it because you can fuck yourself up by looking too much into small things. Just look at like general things of like generally how a team plays. Like, oh, this is a pack team when they play their T sides. They're like a pack default team. We should approach them on our CT side as if they're a pack team. Or, oh, this is a split default team. We should approach them as if they're a split default team. They're always split default team. But that's whatever tendencies you can notice. That's what I would write down and try and anti-strat, you know? Do you think micromanaging is a bad habit for IGLs? Micromanaging is not bad if you're in game, in league, because you want to win that game. But it's bad if you're in scrims. Your teammates should learn how to play without you talking. Like, the ultimate goal of an IGL is for everyone to just to understand him, like, subconsciously, you know? Like, for everyone to just click that he doesn't have to talk that much, so then he can actually have, so the comms are clear, everyone can talk to each other, and then he can make important calls. Micromanaging is not always bad. It's good in league. Like, if you're trying to win a game, you should 100% micromanage. If you see something, you should speak up because you're trying to win that exact game. But if it's in scrims and you're practicing, you shouldn't be micromanaging because then you're just setting up your teammates to rely on that, and now they can't, like, you're not gonna reach peak potential. You're limiting yourself that way. They used to throw, sure, in general, yeah. Like if you're in game, micromanage, but in practice, no. You should let them make, like, just like how I was saying with like aim train stuff, or how you're playing. Let mistakes happen and then correct after. Stop trying to prevent mistakes, because trying to prevent mistakes is something I've struggled with in all areas of life. This is like a personality thing. This is why I say, like, you have to like work on yourself in order to improve at Counter-Strike, because you're gonna find weird mental, you know, things you've accepted from when you're way younger that literally translate into in game. And one of those for me was trying to prevent mistakes. Like, I would just be afraid of failure. I was like super afraid of failure in all aspects. So like, I would not take chances, and you miss out on a lot of learning experiences by being afraid of failure. You just have to be in the zone, let the failure happen, and learn after instead of trying to prevent it. But yeah, there's a lot of things, like, that's why I keep on stressing, like, if you want to go pro in the game, even though I'm not pro, it's gonna happen, but you have to work on yourself because there's mental things that are fucking you up that you don't even realize in game. Like, let's see if I can think of another one that would happen for me. Fear of conflict, right? Every time I got in a conflict when I was younger, when I was a child, usually with my brother, because, you know, that's just how brothers work, and he's my older brother, so, you know, every time I got in an argument, I just get fucking punched, you know, like, he just beat my ass. So it's like, then I just developed this fear of conflict, and I just was afraid to argue and call people out for like doing wrong things. And then I get into a team, I get in a Counter-Strike team, and then I'm like not calling people out on mistakes because I'm afraid of conflict, and that's just hindering us as a team. It's hindering me as a player. So it's like, that's what I'm saying, like, you got to find those weird mental things that have been following you for your whole life and fix those too, because it's going to improve in game. Like, playing Counter-Strike is literally self-expression. Any sport is self-expression. You will see how a person acts, how they are personality-wise in game by watching them play. 100%, you can see that. Let them make bad plays. Exactly. I've been aim training on Counter-Strike Source, and it's been making me better at CS:GO. What the fuck? How old am I? I'm 21. What the fuck? Aim training. Let me see. Producer part. What the fuck? What did you just say, dude? What is that? All right, let me see if I got something else in here. This is another thing I've been like, actually, I feel like I should talk about this later because it's from a Healthy Gamer video I started but I haven't finished. But basically, it's about some guy who says like his dreams are like unachievable, and the guy was talking about how like it just feels like, because he was like trying to be like some medical doctor or whatever, he's got like 20 years of schooling he has to do, whatnot, and it just seems like he's like climbing this tree, and the tree is just so far, like the top is just so far away, it just seems hopeless. And it's just like you gotta like, I'm gonna talk about this later, but basically, people like the guy was saying that he was happy in high school because he knew what he had to do to get to the next level. You know, to like get to sophomore to junior, you just you do your classes, and it's basically like what Dr. K summed up was that like the guy was happier because he wasn't looking up when climbing the tree and seeing the end goal. Because when you're in high school, you're not looking up at the end of the tree. You're looking exactly where you're at, what branches you need to climb. Oh, I gotta do physics homework. I gotta do this, and you're actually in the moment. So like, if you have a really big goal, don't be attached to the big goal outcome. Let's say like going pro or something. You should be attached to like the day to day and climb your own branches. Look at your own branches. Stop looking at all the branches 20 feet, 30 feet away because that's just gonna stress you out. You gotta look at your own branches. It's gonna make you happier. It's gonna make you climb faster too. That's something I'm having to learn. But I was feeling it really bad today where I was like, fuck, dude, like. I'm only getting like, let's say like, oh, I'm only like 3,000 subs. Like I'm so far away from like actually making money off of YouTube and stuff. And it's like, that's me looking too many branches away and looking too far away, you know? So it's like, and that was stressing me out. I was just feeling even worse about myself because I'm comparing. And I was like, I just got to focus on the day. What I got to do? I go to the gym. Let's focus on going to the gym. And that made me happier because I'm not looking at the other branches. Does that make sense? I don't know, some little thing. I'm going to get a better script for this because I got to finish the video I was talking about, but I already applied a part of it today, and it's been really helpful. I found some result from playing Rust. I think it helps. Yeah, dude, aim training on anything helps. It's all transferable. It's a motor movement, motor skill. 16 hours on Rust before I got a refund because I was playing. Game went downhill. And so, how can you tell where you are on the tree? By looking at exactly what you need to do that day. Like, how can I look at myself and see what branch I'm on? What do you need to do to get to the next level? Like, oh, you're in open? Okay, let's start practicing your aim. It's demo review. Just focus on your own branches instead of being like, oh my god, like I guess an example of this is I was like stressed, like, dude, these pro teams have so many strats on Nuke. Like their strat book is so deep. They got fakes for defaults and scripts, and we don't have that. And it's like that's me looking at too many branches away. It's like, okay, I gotta look at exactly where we're at right now. All right, we got a couple defaults. Let's add a script in. Let's add one script in. Let's add this. Let's add a fake. Like you gotta look exactly where you are in that moment, accept exactly where you are, and build from there instead of looking so far away. What's the difference between main and yeah? They're just different leagues. I wish I was in Atlanta caught in old times there. No, forgotten. Look away. What the? What? Oh, let me look through my notes still. I gotta see if I got anything else. Okay, let me see if I got any scripts here. I'm intrigued to know if you played any EU teams and how they compared. No, I haven't. But my editor is from EU, and he's been wanting me to play him and his team. He said he'll make a great video of like a North American main team versus EU open team, and we'll see how we fare against each other. But like they would end up having like 120 ping. But that's something he's been wanting to do like really bad, and we'll probably end up doing it just to like test the differences. Playing open, in terms of skill between open and intermediate, there is barely any difference between intermediate and advanced. Yeah, there's a pretty huge difference between IM and advanced. Open and IM, yeah, they're pretty similar. Honestly, main isn't even that bad either. Main is just like IM teams with good aim, you know. Let me go through these notes here. Damn, I closed the spot I was at. Fuck. Where was I at? Hold on 1 second. I said something about August 2nd, didn't I? I think I'm coming up here. Yeah, you like that video idea? Might end up doing something like that. I don't know when we're gonna be able to do it though, because I think he's from like Portugal, and there's like an 8-hour difference, and I can't play it in the evenings. I can only play at night, so you would have to end up playing like 4 a.m. Do you think I can make ESL challengers? You mean ECL? And yeah, absolutely. I don't know about right now, but I absolutely think I can make that. I think I can make Pro League. Absolutely. I just need time. Let me see. The beast one. Yeah, I guess I could just show this antique on a. Actually, I've already talked about this. Never mind. I've already talked about this before. How many hours do I have? 5,500 on my main, something like that. And then I have an alt with like 800. Something around there. I have like an alt account I used to watch demos on. I just watch it on my main now. Because I used to be scared it would mess up my settings on my main computer for whatever reason. Because I watch demos at work and it's on a shit ass computer. And so I was afraid that if I did it on the same account, that when I come home it would fuck up my settings. So I have like 600 to 800 hours on there, I think. So around like 6,000 something. If I have an idea where I can find players to play Face It with, DM, retake servers, ESCA forums, play Face It, talk to people, see who's cool. Just gotta talk to people, man. Oh, you don't have that much more than you? Yeah, my Discord's got poggers too. I guess not. Yeah, let's see. But I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm low-key burnt out right now. I think I'm gonna call it here. I don't even feel like talking about these things no more. And I only want to talk about them if I got like the enthusiasm behind it. I had a long day. Let me mark where I'm at. We can go back to this spot. What's the date? August 20th. Alright, I just marked this down. Alright, I'm out of here, stream. Bro, Chronos, you just got here while I'm about to get off, dude. My Discord should be in the panels on Twitch. Alright, I'm out of here, stream. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like doing this, but if you guys got people who are into Counter-Strike, bro, refer them to my channel, dude. Okay, I'm trying to get Twitch partner. Okay, I'm able to get affiliate right now if I wanted, but it harms your channel. I can't multi-stream because I stream on YouTube and stuff, and I want to start making money like off of CS because I'm broke as fuck, dude. I'm broke as fuck. I want to be able to get subs and shit. I can do it, but it's just gonna like fuck up the growth of the channel. So like if you got friends who are interested, refer them over here, refer them to the stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. I stream all this shit. I'm gonna try and be super consistent on Tuesdays and Thursdays of like these tips and tricks and stuff. So yeah, because I'm really trying to get enough money to quit my job and be able to live off of YouTube and Counter-Strike so I can do this shit full time. So I'm out, y'all. That was my little call for help there. I will see y'all Sunday maybe if we end up practicing. I'll see y'all Sunday probably.